Hi guys, thank you very much for joining me once again. Now, if you watched my last video, you may remember that I said I was expecting a package this week in the mail, and this is it. So I'm assuming you've seen the thumbnail by now, so you know exactly what is in the package. But very happy to receive these. Don't like the sound of that. They don't know that they've been packed very well inside this box. A little ding there in the box. Hopefully that hasn't damaged anything as well. But we'll crack this open and take a look. So these are from Super 7, the company Super 7, and they must have the license now to make Masters of the Universe figures. And this is just one of the, I guess, the lines of the Masters of the Universe figures they make. They're calling this the 5.5 inch vintage figures. So they've recreated the original vintage Masters of the Universe figures that were released back in early 1980s to around the sort of mid to late 1980s, and supposedly they've made them to look more like the cartoon, the animation, because the original figures were released before the actual cartoon was released, and the figures were a bit different to the animated versions. So start off with She-Ra.
For the honor of Grayskull! I am She-Ra!
So first impressions, the face is very doll-like. Doesn't really look like the animated character's face. But anyway, you'll start off with the card. It's a bit damaged, as I suspected it may very well be. These seem to have been shipped in the original manufacturer's box, and there was just a little piece of like tissue paper in between the figures to stop rubbing on the plastic. But the cards are knocked around a little bit, which is disappointing because I plan on keeping these figures carded, but the cards look very much like the original cards. A few differences, but they got the sort of cartoon image on the back, and then it shows the twisting punch feature and some of the other figures. There's not too many warnings and that sort of thing on there, so yeah, they look pretty good. Hasbro, take note. Doesn't need to be so many warnings on the back of your cards. So yeah, this is obviously the least, or the figure that I was least looking forward to. But next up, we'll take a look at Hordak.
Together we'll make life miserable for those Eternian fools. Why, it'll be just like the old days.
So it's the same sort of deal with this guy. The card's a little bit beat up, sort of fraying along the edges towards the bottom a little bit, so it's a bit rougher than I would have liked. You can see the backing card as well. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention on She-Ra. They've got these cards in the back. You can see that's sort of out of place a bit. The original figures had little mini comics in there, so they haven't unfortunately redone the mini comics with these updated versions, but they have put little cards in there. I believe on the back of the cards it shows you the change or evolution from the original figure to these current figures, the look. Now in regards to the figure, it's got a bit more paint apps on this one than say Skeletor and He-Man I think will have. It's a bit sloppy around the top of his boots there, and this wrist gauntlet, I don't know if it shows up there on the camera because of the glare. Actually, this side has it as well. There's a sort of chunk of black paint missing, so you can see the blue coming through from the plastic underneath. So that's a bit sloppy there. But apart from that, it looks okay. Again, on the back of the card, you got that really cool image up the top. Hordak fighting He-Man. He could sort of morph his hands into weapons and that sort of thing, as you can see on the back of the card here. And he's also got that, all these figures have got that twisting, punching play feature as well, which the original figures did have. So it's nice that they recreated that. And I think we'll take a look at Skeletor now. Okay, so it's sort of the same deal here. We've got the cards a little bit beat up around the edges of the card. It's not too bad. And again, that little insert card is out of place. So you can sort of knock it into place, but then it goes too far the other way, and yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. So yeah, he looks pretty nice. He's I'll do a comparison with the original vintage figure and the modern figure a little bit later on. But yeah, Skeletor definitely looks a lot more like his animation version. And it even says on the front of the card that these are aimed at adult collectors. So you'd think they'd take a little bit more care when it comes to shipping them. I'm guessing I'm not going to be the only one that is keeping these figures carded. And even on the back there, you can see there's a crease right across where the top of the bubble joins on the front. None of the others have it. So that is a little disappointing as well. But it's got that nice artwork on the back like the others. And then it shows you the other figures in this wave and some upcoming figures. And it also shows you that rotating punch feature again. So yeah, it's a pretty cool looking figure. And then last but not least, of course, we've got He-Man. The man himself.
By the power of Grayskull.
Here he is, the most powerful man in the universe, and once again the card is a bit damaged, which is disappointing. It's something they really need to fix. And you can see the as seen on TV little. It's not a sticker; it's printed onto the card, pointing out once again that these are closer to the animation versions of the characters than the original figures were. And he looks alright, nice and muscly, tanned. He's got his hairy underpants on and his boots. Mustn't get very cold in Eternia. And yeah, he looks nice. Same deal on the back as all the others. The artwork at the top looks really cool. And then a picture of the other figures in the wave and some upcoming figures from Wave 2 or associated with coming out at the same time as Wave 2. Wave 2 I have pre-ordered. I did not buy those other two figures down the bottom though. Alright, it's comparison time now. I'll try and get through this very quickly. And I'll start off with She-Ra. As you can see on the left hand side there, that's the original vintage version. And that's very doll-like with all the soft goods and the rooted hair and the face especially. Looks very doll-like. But this modern version, again, this is the character I was least looking forward to, and this is my least favourite of the figures. I think this is average, to be honest. There is soft goods in the cloak, but it's very short, and the face is still a bit doll-like. And she has a shield and sword. Next up is the Hordak comparison. As you can see here, the sculpts are quite similar, but the colouring is very different. And I don't know where they got the original vintage colouring from. The one on the left, the grey and the black and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's a little bit odd. And on the right we have the modern version, and as you might have seen from that earlier snippet of Filmation animation, the colours on the bottom one are a lot more accurate. So yeah, he looks really good. I did have a vintage Hordak back in the day. I loved all the Horde characters. That Horde Trooper that sort of had battle damage that blew apart, that sort of thing. That was really cool. Skeletor. Now, I think they did a good job with Hordak, getting him to look more like the animation version. But Skeletor, yeah, they've done a fantastic job here. The shape of his hood and the look of his face, the paint on the face is a lot better, or is more accurate to the TV version. And once again, these original Skeletor and He-Man figures, that sort of thing, they were released before the animation came out. So, yeah, it's nice to have a TV accurate version. The color on the Havoc staff, that sort of thing. He does come with the modern version, or both versions come with a sword as well. The modern version has a half sword that you can combine with He-Man's half sword, and he has a full sword as well. And then last up again we have He-Man. Now, please disregard the difference in the color of the skin there. These are just the two best quality images I could find of a vintage and a modern version of this figure. One's obviously the photo's been taken in a lot brighter light compared to the other one, the vintage version. So, but you can see the differences here. The difference in his sort of harness, webbing type thing. The difference in the hair. The modern version has more of a page boy sort of type haircut than the vintage version, which is more accurate to the animation. And the vintage version comes with an axe, whereas the modern version doesn't. I don't know if I guess he didn't use an axe in the cartoon. And the modern version comes with a shield, as did the vintage version. The modern one comes with, again, a half sword to combine with Skeletor's and a full sword as well. As I mentioned earlier, I have ordered Wave 2, which I believe is coming out, I think it's around about April next year, sometime like that. And these are the 4 figures in Wave 2. I'm really only looking forward to Man-at-Arms and Beastman, the 2 down the bottom. Up top we've got Robot He-Man. I can't remember what the deal was there. I think it must have been invented by Skeletor to cause some trouble or something like that. And then we've got Teela as well. So yeah, I'm a bit of a completist, that's why I ordered all 4, but I can't wait to get my hands on Man-at-Arms and Beastman. So there you have it, guys. Wave 1 of Super 7's 5.5 inch vintage Filmation style figures. Overall, I'm pretty happy with them. Apart from maybe She-Ra, yeah, that's easily the weakest of the figures. A few paint issues on Hordak, but apart from that, they were pretty good. My main issue is with the way the figures were shipped. The cards were a bit damaged. They need better protection, because as Super 7 acknowledges by saying on the front of the card, adult collectors, these are for people that a lot of people are probably going to leave them on the card, so they need better protection for the cards when they're shipped. Yeah, there you go. That is it. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and feel free to leave any comments down below and give this video a like, and I'll catch you next time.